Hello and welcome. Let's go over this problem in geometry. If the area of above figure is 16 over 5 units, what is its perimeter? So we can start this problem by simply dividing this above figure into two components. One with the rectangle of width 2 and length 1, and the other with the rectangle with the width 1 and what is it? Length, which I shall denote as x for now, because it's unknown at the moment. Now, they say that area of the above figure is 16 over 5 units. That means what? Area of these two rectangles must add up to 16 over 5. So, area of the first rectangle is 1 times 2, which is 2, plus 1 times x, which is going to be x, and together they have to be 16 over 5 units, which means 2 plus x has to be equal to 16 over 5, which in turn means 16x is equal to 16 over 5 minus 2, henceforth, x is equal to 6 over 5. Henceforth, we know x has to be equal to 6 over 5 in order for the area to be 16 over 5 units. Now, to find the perimeter, let's think about it. So, what do we know? So, all we now need to do is what? Figure out the length of the line segment of this and length of the line segment of here. Now, this line segment is directly parallel to this here with 2, so we know this has to be 2. Now, this one here, we know x has to be what? 6 over 5, and here it's going to be 1, so this small teeny bitty segment has to be what? The difference between 6 over 5 and 1, which gives us 1 over 5. Now, we know everything there is to know about knowing the perimeter, which has to be what? 3 here, and then what? Plus 1 plus 2 plus the small segment 1 over 5, and then we add 1, and then we finally add 6 over 5. So if we add all of them up, then what do we get? We get 6 plus 6.2, 7.2 plus 1.2, henceforth 8.4. And that is our answer. Now, this problem is going to be a problem in problem solving and data analysis. The average of a set of 3 positive integers is m. If the number 24 is added to the set, what is the average of the new set of the numbers? So, to solve this problem, let us start by thinking about what the meaning of average is. Average has to be what? Total of numbers in the set divided by number of numbers. That's what the definition is. Now, before we add 24, how many numbers do we have? 3 numbers. So therefore, and my average was m. So total of first 3 numbers or integers. And that divided by, we had what? 3 numbers. So it's going to be 3. So it's going to be the total of the first 3 numbers is going to be just simply what? Multiply 3 on both sides and we get my total of the 3 numbers. And this is before we add 24. So now that we've done that, the total of the first 3 numbers, we don't know what those 3 numbers are. We just know that they all add up to 3m. Now, what happens? If I add 24 to this set, then what becomes the new total? The total of the 3 numbers, right, which was in the set to begin with, and then we add what? 24 to it. So my new total becomes what? 3m plus 24, and that's my new total. Then they ask me what the average of the new set of the numbers. Therefore, my new average is going to be what? Again, the new total, which is 3m plus 24. And then, what is it? Now that we add 24 to it, that's what? 1 more number. We start with 3 numbers and we add 1 number to it, which is 3 plus 1. Therefore, my new average is 3m plus 24 divided by 3 plus 1, which is equal to 4. So therefore, 3m plus 24 divided by 4. Henceforth, the answer is B. So as long as you know the definition, all there is to this is simply plug in and simply solve for it. A simple process. Now, let's try the next problem in advanced math. In the xy plane, the graph of the equation y is equal to 3x squared minus kx minus 35 intersects the x-axis at point 50. What is the value of k? So now, let's take a look at this thing. This thing is a quadratic equation and it is in the normal form. And we shall call that in normal form because that's what it is. Now, we can't really figure out what k is given this normal form. We know that what? It has to, what is it? Intersect the x-axis at 5, 0. So therefore, what do? What should we do? We should try plug it in. See, 5, 0. So x is equal to 5 minus k times 5 minus 35. And in the y's place, it has to be equal to 0. Therefore, simple direct plug-in, 3 times 25, which is the 5 squared, minus 5k minus 35 has to be equal to 0. And now, what do we have? We're simply left with simple 75 minus 5k minus 35, which is equal to 40 minus 5k. Therefore, what is my k? 40 minus 5k has to be equal to 0. Therefore, 5k, if we send over to the left-hand side, has to be equal to 40. Henceforth, dividing both sides by 5, we get k is equal to 8. So it's a simple problem where we simply take the point, we're given the normal form, take the quadratic form, and plug in the point, and then find out the unknown. It's a simple process where you simply just gotta be careful with calculation and you will get the answer. Therefore, k is equal to, which is k equals 8. Wonderful. Now, next problem is in algebra. In the given system of equations, p is a constant. If the system has no solution, what is the value of p? So now, we're given these two linear equations, and we want to make sure that they have what? No solution. We want to pick this p so that they have no solution. So what should we do? So the one way to do this is to make it so that what? Each equation is expressed in the a plus by is equal to c, and dx plus ey is equal to s, f, and then match the coefficients for x and match the coefficients for y, but make it so that c and f is not equal. Therefore, we have what? Two parallel lines. And if we have two parallel lines, that means what? There's not gonna be any intersection, which means there's going to be no solution. So let's start by doing that. So start by taking the first equation and match that into ax plus by is equal to c. So I'm going to start that by what? Sending negative 3 over 2y from the right hand side to the left hand side, which gives us negative 1 over 4x plus 3y is equal to 2 over 3. I'm going to do the same thing in the second equation, 1 over 2x, and then I'm going to send 3 over 2 to the other side, which gives me 3, because 9 over 2 minus 3 over 2 is 6 over 2, which is equal to 3. And then I'm going to take the py from the right-hand side and send it over to the left-hand side, which makes it 1 over 2x minus py is equal to 3. Well, it turns out that, well, we haven't quite matched the coefficients yet. So what am I going to do? I'm going to try and match the coefficients for x first. And I can accomplish that by multiplying the first equation by negative 2. That gives us 1 over 2x minus 6y is equal to negative 4 over 3. And now we can compare that and match that to the second equation. Now, coefficients for x matches 1 over 2, 1 over 2. And if we can match negative 6 with negative p, then the constant coefficient negative 4 over 3 is not equal to 3. Henceforth, that means what? As long as these two match, we're going to have two distinct parallel lines with no intersection, which means no solution. So as long as negative 6 is equal to negative p, there's going to be no solution to the system, which means my p has to be equal to 6. Therefore, the answer is 6 because they asked for what is the value of p. Now, the last problem. A window repair specialist charges $220 for the first 2 hours of repair plus an hourly fee for each additional hour. The total cost for 5 hours of repairs is $400. Which function f gives the total cost in dollars for x hours of repair where x is greater than or equal to 2? So now, this problem simply involves constructing an equation for f given all the information. So let's start by constructing it. What do we know? For x greater than or equal to 2, what do we know? So for the first 2 hours, my fee is flat $220. So we're going to start by just simply saying $220. Then what do we know? Plus an hourly fee for each additional hour. So after 2 hours, I'm going to say this hourly, let this hourly fee be k, then it's going to be what? K times, is it x? No, because we start with x, and because it's x is greater than or equal to 2, and we already paid for the fee $220, I have to what? Minus x by 2, because that's what the additional hour after the first 2 hours. So now, I still don't know what k is, because they haven't really specified anything. So let's read it on. What information do we have in addition? The total cost for 5 hours of repair is $400. Therefore, if we replace x with 5, so input 5, then it has to be equal to 220 plus k times 5 minus 2. And what does that has to be equal to? 400. Because that's what the total repair cost for x equals 5 is. So now, that's going to be 220 plus 5 minus 2, which is going to be 3 times k. So it's going to be 3k has to be equal to 400. Now, this is now simple solving for a linear equation. How do we solve for k? I subtract both sides by 220, which removes the 220 from the left-hand side, and that's going to be 180. Then I divide both sides by 3, which gives me 180 over 3, which makes k is equal to 60. Therefore, my hourly fee for each additional hour is going to be $60. Therefore, now back to my equation, fx is equal to 220 plus 60 times, instead of the x, it's x minus 2, because you see it's additional numbers. Now, none of my answer choices has this, so maybe we need to simplify it a little bit further. So 220 plus 60 times what? We multiply 60 to x and both minus 2 here, so it's going to be minus 2 times 60. And let's try see if we can simplify that. 220, 60 times x minus 120, which gives us 60x plus 100. Now, finally, 6fx equals 60x plus 100. And which one has that? Answer A. Therefore, A is our answer. So, this question is all about simply constructing the equation for f based on the information, the first $220 for the first 2 hours, hourly fee for each additional hour, and then given the additional one input of 5 results in $400, solve for k with hourly fee, and then plug it back into the original equation we constructed, and then simplify. And that's all there is to this process. All right. Thank you.